Hey guys, so I thought I would make a quick video about some of the things that I have found extremely helpful during this bariatric journey. If you're about to start your journey, or if you're, a little bit after having surgery, you might find some of these things really helpful. I certainly did. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's say number one of the most important things that I make sure I always have with me, since I am still struggling to get in the correct amount of fluids in a day. I'm getting really close, but it's still a bit of a struggle, is I make sure that I always have some additional hydration. I make sure that I bring things with me, especially if I'm leaving the house or just throughout the day, to help add extra electrolytes. So for me, my two holy grail things that I make sure I never run out of are Nuun Tablets. These are extremely helpful for me. Not only do they taste great, and they have like a little bit of like fizziness because of the citric acid without being carbonated. They're just a great drink to have with anything, but also it has magnesium, potassium, and electrolytes, and it gives me a bit of an energy boost. So these, I was drinking these religiously before the surgery, but now they are very important. I keep one of these tubes in my purse at all times, so that if I'm ever out longer than I think I'm going to be, or if I'm ever just have to go in emergency and I don't have time to think beyond that point, I know that as long as I can get a hold of 14 to 16 ounces of water, I can just dissolve one of these in it and help myself stay up with getting my electrolytes and my fluids in. The other thing is the Gatorade 2. Now I can't do Gatorade 0 because the amount of sugar alcohols in that was causing major digestive problems for me. So I had to stop the Gatorade 0 pretty quick, within a week or two after my surgery, because I ended up going into the emergency room with severe diarrhea from all the sugar free stuff. I've always been really sensitive to sugar alcohols, and that just with the surgery, and that was just kind of sending it over the edge. So Gatorade 2, I just buy these smaller, 12 ounce, the smaller 12 ounce bottles, and I just keep them in my fridge for that when I'm gonna run out of the house. If I'm going even just to a doctor's appointment, or just going to visit a friend or anything, I throw one of these in there, so that while I'm hopefully going to be drinking plenty of water while I'm if I don't, I know that I'm giving myself a little bit extra hydration. For me, if I'm distracted and having fun or talking to people or whatever I'm doing, it's really hard for me to remember to continue to drink water, even though I have the Bariatric app that reminds me every 30 minutes to sip water. It's really easy to ignore that. So I just have to do everything I can to set myself up for success. So keeping those Nuun Tablets, keeping a Gatorade with me every time I leave the house. I wish I didn't have to have something with so much dye in it. The Nuun Tablets are dyed with beet juice and vegetable juice and stuff like that, so that's fine. But sometimes I can't guarantee that I'm gonna have the water with me for the Nuun Tablet, so having this with me is a really good option, and I know that I'm getting some of my hydration in. Staying on the kind of food side of things, and also what's important for when I'm leaving the house, I've been to a few events now so far, a few gatherings, family parties, things like that, where there's food that's going to be there, and I just can't take the risk right now to eat food that I'm unfamiliar with. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm out and away from home where I might have severe nausea, since I still am learning what my stomach does and doesn't like. And especially if it's something like a potluck or something that's been catered and I have no idea what the ingredients are, or how high the sugar content is. I have to make sure that I have some food with me, so that my stomach isn't crazy empty, but also so that it could help me not make bad choices and eat something that might make me sick. At this point in my journey, I'm not as concerned about eating something too high calorie or anything like that, because I still can only eat so much. But I am concerned about being in public and starting to feel extremely nauseous. Now, I do make sure I always have Zofran tablets in my purse with me at all times, just in case. And I do carry the little sick bags, one of those in my purse with me at all times, just to be safe. However, to avoid any situations where I might be in public and end up with a lot of nausea. I always travel with a snack that I know is safe with me. Some of the safest things that I can have with me right now are things like like this is just the Kirkland brand, but just like, you know, like the cheese and nuts or fruit and nuts kind of things like that. Just something really easy and simple that I can just throw in my bag, or a Luna bar. I'm still unable to have protein bars for whatever reason. Like my stomach just cannot handle them, but I can do Luna bars. I can even finish a whole one. It'll take me a while. It might take me 30 to 45 minutes to finish it, but I can eat a Luna bar and that will keep me very satiated for a few hours. So, you know, making sure you're leaving the house with something that you know is a safe food for you every time you go somewhere is a really good idea. With the Luna bar, I can throw it in my bag, leave it in there for an indefinite amount of time, and it'll be there the next time that I go out if I end up not needing to eat it. But I've found that it's been really, really helpful so that I'm not concerned about being out for too long and not having safe things for me to eat. As well, on the food side, I am definitely someone who enjoys like the salty, savory things, especially things like chips. However, I am very aware that that is like unsafe, empty calories to be having, especially this soon after the surgery. And because something like potato chips would go down so easily, you know, and so well, it's been really hard to not try things like that and have things like that. So to help me not, you know, to help me be able to have a crunchy, salty, or savory snack without going to the side of chips, which I have tried the Quest chips, and those are good. The Quest protein chips. I've tried a few of those. They're good, but they're also highly processed as well, and they're just not the best thing. So those, if I feel like I just really, really want chips, I will just go with those instead of something like Lay's or something like that. But otherwise, what I try to do is I buy these Rhythm dehydrated vegetable chips that they make. This is just one of them. This is just the sea salt and carrot. My favorite is the kale chips, but I also get I'll put some pictures up of the other ones. They have like broccoli and cauliflower and mushrooms and beets and all kind, like, and most of them, the beets were a little bit weird, but everything else tastes amazing. So I really, really enjoy these. They're on the pricier side, unfortunately. So but to me, it's worth not falling into the trap of having something like chips. So if you're looking for something salty and crunchy to try, that's usually pretty safe on the bariatric stomach because it's not going to be high in sugar or have anything that really should upset your stomach, something like this is a really good option. Next, I'll talk about the protein sources that I've been trying or that I'm still using that are still working on my stomach as of right now, since I'm unable to do protein shakes or pre-made protein shakes. So the thing that I've been using from the beginning since the surgery has been this Gen Pro flavorless protein. Now, I don't do this every day. I mainly use this for if I'm cooking. If I'm cooking something that has some kind of, like if it's a soup or has a broth with it or has like a sauce with it or anything like that, I'll mix this in with it. So it's really easy just to mix it with some water, shake it up, pour it into it, give yourself some extra protein. So this has been really helpful. This is whey protein, which I normally can't handle, but since I'm not having it multiple times a day, every day, it's been okay. So this I probably will continue to buy unless I find a plant-based one that doesn't upset my stomach. It has enough protein to make it worth it. The thing about this is 1 scoop is 30 grams of protein. So, and it's a pretty small scoop. So that's partly why I went with this brand, is because I knew I wouldn't have to have a high volume of whatever. But I can also add this to my smoothies as well. So this specific one was really helpful for me, and I think this is my 3rd bag of it. So although I think I'm getting through like 1 bag a month. So although I'm not using it every day, it's still worth it to me to have this one. My other protein source that I've been trying recently is the Vital Proteins marine protein. So because I am trying my best not to add as much animal protein as I can, this is marine collagen protein. I know that there is an option to have just the regular collagen protein, which is like bovine based or like, beef based, I think. And I just wanted to give my system a chance to not deal with as much inflammation. So I decided to go with the marine protein. I figured this was a little bit better of an option. I'm doing the pill version right now because I already have the powder version for like smoothies and for food. This is not the wisest thing to do with the pills because it is like 7 pills 2 to 3 times a day or 2 to 4 times a day. With the bariatric stomach, taking 7 pills can take hours. So it wasn't the wisest choice, but at least I know because I have this pill version, I can just kind of add extra protein. If I have a meal and I'm like, okay, I know there wasn't enough protein in that meal, I can fit in 3 to 4 of these with my meal and then know that I'm adding some protein in, not to the amount that I should, but at least it's something. And I wanted an option to be able to add protein to my diet without it having to be part of a meal or part of something that I have to cook into the diet or have to mix into whatever it is that I'm eating. So although this isn't the most convenient thing, I probably will continue to buy the pill version of it just so that I can simply swallow some protein since I can't do the protein shakes right now. Now let's move to some things that were a little bit more crucial in the beginning and continue to be crucial now. So this isn't as crucial now, but I think I shared about these in one of my other videos, but these containers, this is the 2 ounce and this is the 4 ounce. I could not have done this journey without this. The liquid stage, this is what I used. I just got them off Amazon. I'll try to link them below in the video, but they have the lids already attached. So it's not a matter of you looking for a lid or having to find a lid. They're already attached and you can get it in, I think 1, 2, 4 and 6 ounces. I might end up getting some 6 ounce ones so that I can just take things with me a little bit easier. May not be necessary. I do have a few 6 ounce Tupperware containers, but these are just so convenient. And if you're somewhere where you're going to be out all day and it's like, you can just throw this away. I think they're made to be disposable because they are a good enough grade of plastic, I just have washed them and used them. They came in packs of 100. I never used all of them, but these are really, really helpful. I also, if I'm going to travel somewhere and I know I want to bring some extra protein with me just in case, I'll just put the protein in one of these 2 ounce containers, the 1 scoop of protein. And then when I get wherever I'm going, I can just put in a little bit of water, shake it up, and then mix it into whatever I'm eating. So it's really helpful for that. But these have so many uses. You can use them for crafts and for organization, whatever you want to use afterward. But this was what I mainly used for the liquid stage, and then when I got to the pureed stage, it was these. And I still use these just to take things with me sometimes, take just a little small portion of food with me if I'm going to be out somewhere and I don't have one of my other packaged foods that I like to bring with me. Putting 4 ounces of something in here is usually really, really helpful. The other thing that has been completely necessary and I would not be able to survive without has been this pill organizer. Now, I have been through 2 different pill organizers since the bariatric surgery. I started out with a smaller version of this exact same type of organizer, but because of the size of the calcium pills, the multivitamins, and the fact that I take fish oil and magnesium, those pills can be pretty large. So the additional pills that you have to take as far as your vitamins and like any other supplements that you're choosing to take goes, on top of any medication that you might be already taking, having a very organized, specific type of pill organizer is crucial to make sure that you're taking everything that you're supposed to be taking. So I take, I think, 4 or 5 medications that are just regular prescription medications per day. And then the rest of everything that goes in here is just supplements. And the reason why I needed one this size, which let me go ahead and show you what it looks like, because this is just the case for it. And every night before I go to bed, I put the day before case away. So when it's open, it just looks like this. These are all the days inside, and you just kind of take out whatever current day that it is, and you use it. So what I just do is I just take it out every night after I've taken my last nighttime medication. I put this back in. I keep it like near my desk where I work, and then I put the one out for the next day and I sit it on my desk so that it's sitting there and ready. The reason why this was important for me to be able to have ones where it's separate like this and you can take it is I wanted to be able to take a day with me. So if I know I'm going to be out all day or going to do something or going to hang out with friends and I know that I might not get back till late, or especially for traveling, when I'm traveling out of state, I want to make sure that I can have one day with me, you know, in my carry-on, but then maybe be able to put the rest of this in my checked luggage. But knowing that I can be like, if I need to leave somewhere for whatever reason, for the day, halfway through the day or the beginning of the day, I can just grab this off of my desk, throw this in my purse, and then I have all of my supplements and my medications for that day. So for me, it's like I think it's in the morning, it's just in the morning, the only medication, like prescription that I take is the Ursidol, which is to help try to avoid gallbladder issues after rapid weight loss. And then the rest of it is just like my fish oil, my omeprazole that I take once a day, and my multivitamin. And then the first one I had just had 3 sections, but I have to take medication 4 times a day, especially since we have to spread out when we take like our multivitamin or our iron and our calcium. I needed 4 slots, and so this was necessary. And although this is large, it's like as big as they get, to be able to fit everything in all these larger pills in it, and any additional supplements that I just may decide to add as well, I wanted to make sure I could fit everything in it. So then like my later morning medication is my second dose of fish oil, my first calcium pill, my vitamin D, and I think that's it. And I'll start mixing in the collagen pills at this time as well. And then at night, my nighttime one, I take my medications, like my pain medications, muscle relaxer, my Lyrica, and whatever else that I need to take. I try to take most of my pain medication for the fibromyalgia and rheumatoid arthritis at night because most of them make me groggy. So this helps me to fall asleep anyway. So I take all of that usually around like 8 p.m. So that's my nighttime one. My last one is my Renvoc and my magnesium. The magnesium specifically just because it does help you sleep, but I take it for fibromyalgia. But also the Renvoc, it can make you dizzy and maybe even a little bit nauseous. So I always make sure I take the Renvoc literally right as I'm getting into the bed so that I can sleep through any possible side effects of it. So it was important for me that I had like a nighttime and then like an actual bedtime differentiation for these, so that I don't mix up what I take at like 8 p.m. and then what I'm taking at like 10 p.m. So that's usually like the time difference for that. So for me, the 4 sections was necessary. For some people, 3 might be enough, but I needed the 4 sections and I needed them big enough to hold, you know, fish oil in addition to, because like my Ursidol medication and my multivitamin are large. So I needed to make sure I could fit everything that I needed in here, and also that I could just take the one day and just throw it in my purse and know that I have all my medication with me and that I'm not going to miss any doses. So having something like this is super helpful for me. So just every Sunday, I just, you know, go through and open all the compartments and fill the medication, close them. And then the next day, you know, like I said, I just sit it on my desk and it's there, easy for me. I have alarms that go off reminding me each time it's time to take one of these medications. And then if I need to go somewhere, like I said, I just grab it, throw it in my purse so that I know I have it with me no matter what. Next, we'll talk about a food scale. Now, this food scale that I got is completely unnecessary for me. Like, this is a food scale that like can literally, you can select what type of food, like what, if it's a protein, if it's a grain, like exactly what food that you've put on here so that it can tell you how much protein and how many calories everything is adding up to. I am not the kind of person who counts macros to that extreme. So this was not necessary to get this high tech. And this is also Bluetooth and it connects to your phone. Totally not necessary for me, maybe some people, but I use it just as a scale, regular scale, but it is what it is. I spent the money on it. I regretted it. I didn't need it. It sounded really great when I heard somebody else taking like when I heard someone else mentioning it, but you do need a scale. So especially as I've been sitting here trying to learn exactly how much food fits in my stomach, I knew that it was probably about 4 ounces. So anytime I made myself a portion of food to eat, I made sure I weighed out those 4 ounces and knew that like I shouldn't eat beyond that amount. So that is still for me extremely helpful, is to, if I'm making some food and it's, you know, something I cooked and isn't pre-portioned, to be able to weigh out how many ounces I'm eating to avoid the nausea and to avoid overeating by making sure it's only 4. And sometimes depending on what it's made out of, if it's just like a soup or something thin, I can do 5 ounces. But having a scale is very, very helpful. You're going to need the scale in the beginning, absolutely. But even 3 months in right now, the scale is still very helpful. And lastly, we'll talk about the dishes and silverware that I use. So I happen to have this cute little, I think it's just like a spoon that's meant to stir like coffee and things like that. But I've had this for many years. I just have it because it's miniature and it's cute, but this has been so helpful. I still eat with this every day. Anything that needs a spoon, I keep telling myself to like order some more smaller utensils, but this small spoon kind of does everything I need for me. But even if I'm eating something like yogurt or Jello or basically anything that can be eaten with a spoon, this is really helpful to make sure that I control the size of my bites, and to help make sure, because like one of my biggest issues is if I take a bite that's too big, it feels like it gets stuck. So, and that is like a very, very uncomfortable feeling, and actually is like a little bit panicky when you feel that. So reminding myself to take smaller bites and to chew my food, especially when you reach the pureed stage and the soft food stage, you cannot function without something like this. Because even if you're eating and you're not thinking too much about what you're doing, you'll end up with a whole spoonful and find yourself in trouble. So having these small miniature spoons are very helpful. There is actually a company that makes mindful eating silverware, and I'll go ahead and link them below. I'm thinking about getting one of their sets, but they actually make the set of like for, you know, bariatric patients, the set of metal small spoons, forks, and knives to help with mindful eating. So you don't have to use like toddler spoons, but toddler spoons are absolutely fine. But if you're not someone who wants like little plasticware, then getting something like that is helpful. In addition to the small spoon, I also got toddler size plate and bowl. Like this is extremely helpful, and I don't even know when I'll stop using something like this, because the portions you're eating are so small, and to see them on a full-size plate, not only can that be like a little depressing or discouraging to see like your very small portion on a large plate, but one of the biggest issues is that you can just accidentally overeat when you put too much food on a plate. So knowing that your plate and your bowl are so small, it's a lot easier to remind yourself that if it doesn't fit on here, it's way too much food anyway. So this has been extremely helpful. These are from Target. They come in like a tri-colored set of like, I think black, white, and like seafoam green. All of my like plates and bowls and everything are black already, so I just use the black ones. I keep the other ones set aside just in case I need them for any other reason. But these have been very helpful, very small. Like this is what you're eating, this is the portion that you're eating, so it's very helpful to have something like this. Anything smaller, even eating out of ramekins or anything smaller like that, is very, very helpful, so that you can help with your portion. And it's helpful when you're just making out, like if you know that you made something, like made a dish, and you want to try to just portion it out for meals for the rest of your day, being able to portion them out in these and like put some plastic wrap or something over it is really helpful. Just knowing that like this is basically what can fit in your stomach, like not a full bowl this size, but you know, a reasonable amount in here, and whatever, even if you're going to try to eat something like pizza or anything like that, you know that whatever slice you have has to fit in this, like knowing that this is like what your stomach can fit inside of it. All right, and that's it. So I hope you found this helpful. I will link as many things below that I'm able to find links to, but I have found all of these things very, very helpful. Use them all basically every day, and they're things that I know that I'll be using throughout this journey for a while. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope to talk to you again soon. All right, bye.